Thank you for joining us on the program. This is Newspunch coming to you live from Ben Television. My name is Tunde Alabi this beautiful evening. On the program today, we'll be taking a look at the Nigerian police force, their role in security, and of course, the role of the Inspector General of Police in maintaining, supervising, controlling his officers, and of course, his relationship between the presidency and the National Assembly. Of course, there have been quite a lot of misunderstanding between the IGP, the presidency, and some principal officers of the National Assembly. And the IG has been criticized by some people for treating the National Assembly with disdain, while he is been maintaining that is within the law. He's not acted ultra via, that everything he has done is still within his responsibility as the IG of the Nigeria Police Force. And of course, his roles in, well, a couple of issues that have been discussed to be issues affecting principal officers of the National Assembly. Say, for instance, the accusation against Dino Melaye, the accusation against the Senate President, and a host of others. Some have said they are political, they are politically motivated, while some have said, hang on, the IG is just doing his job. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're fingered in any criminality, you should be brought to book. So on the program today, I'm joined by two people who have been following the situation in Nigeria. One is a former metropolitan officer here in London, and the other, he is responsible for peace initiative and movement around the world. My first guest, close to my left, is Alexander Kuye. Alexander Kuye, a former metropolitan police officer here in the United Kingdom, London. Alexander, thank you for joining us on the program today. And also our Dr. Maikuyi. Dr. Maikuyi is the president of the peace movement, global peace movement worldwide. Doctor, thank you for joining us on the program today. All right, and at the appropriate time, we'll open the phone line for you to join us on the program as we take a look at the situation in Nigeria. You have the opportunity to call into the studio as we take a deep look into what is happening in Nigeria. Let me start with my friend here who has some experience with politics in the United Kingdom in terms of hierarchy, responsibility with the political offices, especially the members of different committees of the House of Commons. Alexander, you must have read, you have heard, I know you've been following the situations around the police and the National Assembly and the Executive. Well, let's start with the functions of the Nigerian police. What, in your view, would you consider to be the primary responsibility of a police force?
Thank you very much for inviting me on the show. Primarily, I think that the responsibility of the Nigerian police force, or service as I would like to call it, is really two things: to protect life and property. Now, in the current climate of things, do I believe that the Nigerian police force are set out to protect life and property? I would say no. Would I say that the Nigerian police force act in a manner where their whole intention is to protect the people of Nigeria? I would again say no. I've been very critical of the Nigerian police force as an institution and as an organization. I don't believe the members of the Nigerian police force have Nigeria at heart. And it's sad for me to say this, but it's true, because if you think about it, if you look historically at the human rights abuses of the Nigerian police on people of Nigeria, you understand that a lot of people have no time for them. I, for one, I've always said that the Nigerian police are hooligans with guns, and they merely wear uniform. And it's unfortunate, the current climate that we live in, I don't even understand if we even have a Nigerian police force. It's all by name, but actually when it comes to doing the things that people want them to do in Nigeria, we don't see that.
Why would you specifically write out the Nigerian police?
What's positive to say about the Nigerian police force? I think if you look at other countries, let's look at countries like the South African police force and other reputable other Western African countries, you will see that their police force are advanced. I know what I'm talking about. I have had the luxury of going to Nigeria and working with the Nigerian police force on 2 occasions. If you've ever been to the police college in Ikeja, it's probably one of the worst ever training schools I've ever seen in my life. The facilities are not up to standard. The boards are literally broken. Teachers do not show up. You have over 2,000 officers who do not know if today they're going to come and study or tomorrow they're going home. This has been carried on for years on years. And it's not to blame a particular government. This has been going on for decades. So if we don't invest in the police in Nigeria, and we do not, in some aspects, believe in them, how can they bring that belief to the streets of Nigeria? Have you been to some of the police stations just in Lagos? Let's use Lagos for example. Some of the police stations in Lagos, you would think it being, the former capital city or even being the mega city of Nigeria, that the police stations will have adequate, when I say adequate resources. I can tell you this is not. I've been to quite a few police stations. They're still using pen and book in the charge office to bring people into custody. We're in 2018. Other countries are using computers. When it comes to fingerprint machines, I've never ever seen one at a Nigerian police station. This is what we need to be talking about. Why are we not giving the right resources to the Nigerian police force? We assume Nigeria police forces is simply checkpoint guards, people that stay on the roadway collecting bribes, nothing else. And it's very sad for me to say this, but what has the Nigerian police done? In the decades they've been here, what has the Nigerian police done for the people of Nigeria? And I cannot find of anything, to be fair.
Dr. Mike, what are your views from this perspective?
Well, government is a continuum, like he has said. The Nigerian police force, he is not practically saying one particular person is at fault. He's saying the entire setup of a country that has decided to neglect its own police force. I mean, he's 100% right. It's a continuum. Even before the present IG would have joined the police have been the dilapidated department that nobody really cared about. I think at the time the Nigerian police was set up, it was meant to torment people, not to actually, for the rich, to torment the poor. I think that was the sole aim of setting up the police force as at the time it was set up. But the issue is that we are talking of a metamorphosis. We have not actually metamorphosed in the area of technology in modern policing like it is here in the United Kingdom. He is an metro officer. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to equipments. When he talks about welfare, encouragement, enlightenment, and some other things that have to make police department to be more friendly. Even when we have Notting Hill festival here, you see policemen dancing with the people. Police cannot be isolated from the people. Police do not need red eyes to control crime. You need friendliness to control crime in any way in the world. But the way the Nigerian police have been fashioned is to be aggressive at people at all times. And this is not the work of a particular government in place. It is a continuum. It has been, even before the IG joined the force. So what he's saying about the police here in Nigeria as compared to United Kingdom and other parts of the world, the difference is clear. You do not bring a hungry man to be friendly with you. If you have taught a man to be hungry, expect aggressiveness from him. There's no civilization in being hungry. If you cannot equip the police, you can't pay them. A police constable is on £50 a month. So what magic are you expecting him to perform? What friendliness do you expect him to bring from his heart?
Nothing.
To protect you, the man that wants to protect you must be protected himself. He would have had that inner peace of himself. This is a man who had to wake up early in the morning and take his bed outside some police stations where they have been transferred for about 3 months from maybe Sokoto to Lagos or Lagos to Sokoto, without his family, without notice, and kind of. And he's just there, trying to survive. How do you expect him to protect you? The police of Nigeria is a victim of its own department.
I agree.
The National Assembly we are talking about as you appropriate money. In this recent, yes, they appropriated 9% of a 100% budget submitted by the police. So what are you expecting? You cannot make an angel in a demon's hole. That's just it. So he has just stated it the way it should be.
So basically, the Nigerian police force is a formation of a poorly created environment.
No,
Exactly.
I would disagree. I would say when the British...
In terms of training, in terms of provision, in terms of equipment, in terms of welfare, that's what I mean. A formation, a poorly institution that has come out of a poor formation.
Did you know that? Did you know that in the Nigerian police force training college in Ikeja that they still buy their uniforms? What country have you heard of where a police officer who will stand above the rest and say, I'm going to serve my country with pride and honor, to be told when he gets to the training complex that he has to buy his own uniform, he has to buy his own training kit? This is terrible. And for me, if you look at it in different aspects, if you look at it in investigation, if you look at it in protection, I remember speaking to a protection officer that protected me when I was working in Nigeria. And one of the things that he said was the best posting ever to be a police officer is basically being with the protection team. Why do you think that? Because these protection teams protect presidents, governors, friends of governors, advisors, special advisors to that advisor. Everybody's an advisor, and they protect them. They get more money doing that than protecting the people that they were hired to protect in the first place. You find with governors, presidents, former governors, everything, you see an entourage of 40, 50 police cars, blazing siren in the middle of the night. And then you look at the common people of any state in Lagos or whatever around the country, and you don't see a single police officer patrolling the street. If you call the police in Nigeria, the thing you get is, oh, we don't have any petrol in our vehicle, or we can't attend because of this, there's a problem there. But there's always petrol to come and protect these presidents who go around with 50, 60 motorcades. This needs to carry on. We need to actually prioritize.
Dr. Mike, you're very close to the government, to the IG or whatever. But let's bring it down. Who do we hold responsible? Obviously, over time, there has always been budgetary allocation to the office of the Nigerian Police Service Commission. In fact, there was a time that there was this cry about the very poor state of the Nigerian Police Academy in Lagos. Lagos, I think that's about 3-4 years now. The very poor state of that institution.
Yeah.
What do we blame? Is it the office of the IG? Is it the Police Service Commission, the presidency, or the National Assembly?
No, just remove the IG from it.
Why should we remove the IG?
I will tell you why you remove the IG from it.
Why? Now, I'm not talking about the present IG. You said...
No, I said continuum.
It is continuum.
Yeah.
Why should we remove the IG? What draws up the budget for the Nigerian police? Is it not the office of the IG?
You draw up a budget.
Support from the executive.
You draw up a budget. That is just a paper. Appropriation of bills. Appropriation of bills is different from allocation of finance.
He gets his allocation.
He never get them. That's the problem. You really don't know about that.
In terms of security in Nigeria, we are very sure that the National Assembly may joke with a couple of things, but in terms of security, they have said it very clearly that they take the life of every Nigerian very serious.
That is saying. That is saying.
And they don't joke with allocation and appropriation.
I am telling you that appropriation and allocation, they are two different things entirely. If you bring in a budget of 300 million, for example, haven't allocated in different departments or what 300 million should do for you. and somebody sits down and says, okay, this 100 million, well, I think we should give you 19 million. Have you not done your work by projecting what?
But the National Assembly has always insisted that the budget.
Did you know how much was approved, the budget that was approved for them last year? That's the issue. 30% of 100%, minus 70. So how will the police function? Why is it
released to the Nigeria police?
Yes.
Not appropriated. Because
So
when the money
release,
is appropriate,
30%.
so when the money is appropriate, just like the way you have in Nigeria, less than 25% performance of our budget, or 30%, maximum 40% of budget performance in Nigeria. So the problem is not with the National Assembly. The money appropriated, but the money that's appropriated goes to the executive, and only 30% released by the executive to the Nigerian police. That is the situation.
So the police have no blame. I'm just telling you that the police have no blame in the money given to them.
So why would the executive that is supposed to be responsible for funding the Nigerian police from the national budget withhold part of the
It's what he just saying. It's like what he was just saying. That look, the money, the things are not there for the police to use to enhance their training. It's not there to enhance their welfare.
Are you sure they are not there? Some people in the hierarchy of the Nigerian police are mismanaging this.
Yes, I agree. 100%.
When you say mismanagement, I'm not going to defend the police in any way because I don't work with the police. So what I'm telling you is that with the investigation I've made so far, not hearing from outside, but going in to really find out what is happening. Do you know every station in Nigeria is allocated every month 7,000 naira for the DPO?
So who does the allocation to the DPO? That is the office of the IG.
No. From the police budgeting department. You find out that the money given to them
directly under the office of the IG.
It is not say under the IG like we are seeing it. Police have their own finance department.
Who sees over it?
The overall of police in Nigeria is seen by the IG.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the overall. But that also increases the money of the police. The police do not take money on their own.
But
Alexander.
I just want to add that the previous IG has been down for corruption charges. The one previous before that...
Down for corruption?
Yeah. Well,
almost 3 IGPs have been down for corruption.
So the past IGs have been down for corruption. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, is that there is money going into the Nigerian police force. Because under Goodluck Jonathan, if you notice, the same training school in Ikeja, they've rebuilt some of the training college. So
it collapsed.
Yes, and most of it has collapsed. Most of the equipment inside was never bought. So for me, I want to know really, and I think people want to know, is that where is this money going to? Now, at the end of the day, if the police force, I know that police officers have been owed salaries in Nigeria, but the IG seems to get his salary. But the IG does get his salary.
I wouldn't know, definitely. It's like governors. It's like governors. Governors don't pay state, but we cannot say they don't get their salaries.
Being a leader of organization, listen, if my soldiers are not eating, then I shouldn't be eating. That's the way I see things. But what I'm saying...
All of us see it that way from
yes,
UK.
Okay, yes, not even the UK. It's even humanity. If you look at humanity. But what I'm saying is the IG is eating his salary. He gets his salary every month. The people that are under him gets his salary every month. But the people that work on the streets don't get their salary. They're forced to go on the streets and take money from well-noble citizens because they're not getting paid. So if you look at this, there is money that has come into the Nigerian police force. Even Buhari has said, compared to other governments, I've put more money into the Nigerian police force. Where has that money disappeared to?
That's the aspect we want to really look critically. Looking at the saying and the performance, there are two aspects that need to be separated from each other. It is like some money we are giving to governors as bailout, and the states are still owing the people. Was given. But there has never been a time any government has actually come out to say, I have given police enough money to perform. Has there been any? No. If they have actually, if the federal government have given police enough money, why are state police in different states meeting with the governors to tell them to provide extra equipment for them, give them more vehicles, and kind of you see them coming to commissions on vehicles given to the police and kind of.
And that's where the problem is. And I have to.
The money is not really appropriated from the government of Nigeria. Even if it's appropriated, it's not released by the National Assembly. We should understand this clearly.
Okay, let me quickly give you the 2018 budgetary allocation.
And what was released?
As we talk now,
Yep.
the budgetary allocation for the entire Nigeria police force to fuel the vehicles of the police of Nigerian police, fueling of vehicles at the different police stations is 1,017 naira per day.
Are you hearing that?
Well, you can't really do much with that.
1,000 and
That is £2.
this is triple the allocation to the office of Mr. President. Who does the allocation? The presidency, the executive draws up the allocation.
£2.
Draws up the allocation, but he allocates more to his office than to the entire Nigeria police force.
Let me explain. Okay, let's use the example of Britain. Let's just use the example. If the Commissioner of Police tomorrow knows that budget season is coming, which is April to April, they will look around. The Home Secretary will say, listen, in your portfolio, i.e. your force, you guys need to cut by 25%. Send me your budget, send me everything. If there's things that you guys desperately need, so example, things that are ring-fenced, so terrorism is ring-fenced. They can't cut the budget from that in the UK. When it comes to local policing, that has been ring-fenced, so they can't cut it. When it comes to backroom stuff, that has to be cut. The thing about the Nigerian police force, does the Nigerian police force even know their own budget? Let's be fair. If somebody, like example in the UK, a commissioner would say, I need £3 billion to ensure that this particular organisation can run effectively for the next year. I have never ever, in the time I've been alive, heard an IG of Nigeria police force say, I need 1 trillion naira to ensure that I can do everything to ensure that people say, I've not heard it. It seems that all IGs are afraid to speak up. And I think that's maybe this problem, is that they're afraid to speak up. They get maybe 1 billion there. They think that they won't say anything. And it's wrong. Tell the government, speak out. You are an officer. You know what's best for your organization and best for the Nigerian people. If you believe that 1 trillion naira or whatever is enough for you to carry out the duties of the people for Nigeria, go to the presidency and tell them that. But the IG has never done that. He's always accepted what he gets given. But we're in 2018, things are worse.
I understand that. So, do we blame the ordinary police officer on the street of Lagos? Who we will consider does misbehave sometimes, takes bribe here and there, or out of frustration gets drunk and starts. Because if people are frustrated, it can lead to a lot of other things. Do we blame this poor police officer who is barely paid enough to take him home, who doesn't even have security for himself, whose life is exposed to danger, who doesn't probably even have a roof over himself? Do we blame him?
Hell yes. Yes, of course.
We should blame him.
Yes, of course. I believe we should.
Why? How?
And I'll tell you why we should blame the police officer. When you joined that job and wore that uniform, you know that your job was to protect life and property. When you started to know that you had problems and you believe you're not being paid, if your working conditions are not great and your welfare is not great, you move on and find another job to do.
In Nigeria?
Yes, if it has to be done.
That would be talking
utopian. No, but you're being patriotic. You're being patriotic. You can't, because of something's not going well, you start, okay, I'm going to collect bribe. It's totally wrong.
Okay, all right, Doctor, go on. Do you want to? So would we blame that officer on the street?
Never. Because he's looking at it maybe combining UK and Nigeria together.
Well, his point is you take up an appointment.
No,
this is not going on well. The way you assumed you're not being paid well.
Yeah.
You're exposed to danger. Rather than risking your life.
Let me clarify. It's so clear. It's a clear mathematics. You are in a job in UK. You are earning equivalent of about 1.8 million.
Let me put you on hold. Let's go on a break now. Okay. We will come back after this break.
Okay.
From the beginning to the end, and that is why we are here. Keep from that short break. We're still here talking about the Nigeria Police Force, its responsibilities to the Nigerian people, and of course the role of the Inspector General of Police and his relationship with both the executive and the National Assembly. But generally at the moment we're looking at the Nigeria Police Force, its performance, things it should do or has done and the challenges facing the Nigerian police force. If you want to join the program, there's a number that's going to come up on the screen now. You can join us on the program. But in 2018, let me just quickly give you the breakdown of what has been allocated to the Nigerian police force across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Each police station in Nigeria, this allocation is done by the presidency in collaboration with the IGP now. Each police station in Nigeria per day will get 1,017 naira to fuel their car. 1,017 naira to fuel their car. That's approximately
less than £2.
That's about £2 for each police station to fuel his car. So if you call a police station in Nigeria and they say to you, look, we haven't got fuel in our car, just remember that the government of this government has appropriated to each police station across Nigeria only 1,017 naira per day to fuel their car. So how would the patrol team move around if they got such a mega map? And also, in terms of insurance scheme for the Nigerian police, only a sum of 687 million naira, 687 million naira has been appropriated through the presidency and the IGP to the entire Nigerian police force in terms of insurance premium for them. These amounts to each Nigeria police force is insured up to the tune of 2,283 naira. Each Nigerian police personnel is insured up to a total to the tune of 2,280. That's the lowest ranking officer in the Nigerian force. So, it's been calculated that an average Nigerian police officer is being insured up to £10. Well, 2,283. And the other thing in terms of the budgetary allocation of the Nigerian police force, the cost from the presidency only covers is just a contribution to its cost. The principal part of the vehicle, the equipment, and all the necessary things the Nigeria Police Force uses, they are principally provided by the state government. If you're in Nigeria, you will find out that in Nigeria, the state government had the one providing vehicles, armored vehicles or whatever for the Nigerian police force by whatever means. So what is actually the presidency and the Nigeria and the IGP, either the IGP, the presidency, or the Police Service Commission actually doing in terms of making adequate funding for the Nigerian police? So no wonder these guys are being said to be failing. Before we went on that show, Dr. Uya was on you. Yeah, he said, you get into a job, you're not being paid well, you're risking your life, you're out there, if you do what is not right, if you're caught, you're going to be a scapegoat. Why do you hang on to such a job? Why would you hang on to such a... Just resign and say, look, no, this job doesn't seem to fit into what I want, rather than mess up myself. Let me leave the job. Yeah, and that's how for him. He will want to blame the ordinary Nigerian police.
Okay, he wants to blame the ordinary Nigerian police.
For holding on to such a role.
I, as Michael, am not doing that. The reasons are clear. He is bringing it from an angle of patriotism, one. Secondly, in a society that have courageous men, two. Then three, a society that have welfare. Like in UK, he can afford to resign and go anywhere else because he is not satisfied. A managing director can talk to you anyhow, you tell him to keep it there. I'm moving off. You can find me here tomorrow. The reason that you can fall back on social security. You can go back to your council, your rent can be paid, you can be paid allowances to feed yourself. You cannot be on the streets. That you cannot do in Nigeria. We have to face the reality. Your patriotism in doing that is foolishness in Nigeria. Because you're going to throw your family into jeopardy. Apart from the part that you're already in jeopardy.
So now, because you don't want to throw your family into jeopardy, you go out there, you risk your life, you stand on the road, you collect bribe, a senior officer catches you, calls you into the disciplinary room, fires you, and makes you a scapegoat. Meanwhile, the money you're collecting, your senior officer at the station takes the money off you, principally. But you're still made a scapegoat at the end of the day.
The issue is that you're bringing the apex of climax. It's not the issue of bringing apex of climax into an issue that is a daily practice. Now, we're talking of a man that is sure his welfare is based on charity. Certainly not on salary or welfare. It's based on charity from people. It's like saluting some big organ and then they put their hands in their pocket and give to you. That you cannot do in the UK. For example, somebody contravened traffic rules. He doesn't want to be detained. Like in UK, no amount of money can make you to be free. He takes you to where it has to the clearance. There you have a way out because the person you are addressing has a loophole. He has a problem. He has a financial problem. The government that employed him is not helping him. It's not making him anything. The government has even made him a criminal. You cannot train an adult, give him a gun, and not pay him. You are indirectly telling him, survive with the gun I give to you in any way possible you can survive. That is the language. We cannot deceive ourselves. You train an adult, you're paying him 30,000 a month, as what? And his electricity is about 15,000. Won't he pay his children's school fees? Won't he feed? Won't he transport himself? Have you seen any comparison with that in UK?
But let me put you on hold. You've been on assignment in Nigeria in some of these places. You see the officers in charge of the police stations, whatever they call them, they live a luxurious life. The officers, either the officers in charge of the different police stations across Nigeria, the DPO, or even the common officer in charge of a case, IPO. You see, these guys live luxurious life. They drive good cars. So why do we complain they don't have money? If a DPO lives well, drives good car, has 2-3 houses, from where? From what source?
Yeah, let's be fair. Most DPOs, even most area commanders, they all have luxurious houses. Even the former PRO of Lagos State, every single weekend you will saw her partying, and for someone who you'd think that isn't earning lots of money, the flamboyant life that some of these senior officers live.
Senior officers live. Where do they get the money from?
There are reasons for that.
So the question is, we have painted. You've painted a very gloomy picture of the economic life of these officers. Yeah. But above certain level of the officers, the middle class officers, the middle officers, the DPOs, the senior officers, they live very well.
There's no doubt about that.
Who pays that bill? The junior officers on the street who collects bribe? Who pays that bill?
I told you, evil triumph in the society that lack courageous men. You're not going to go above that. The issue is, once you have aspired to the rank of an officer, a DPO or area commander, you have welfare from the public. Welfare from the public.
Can you define it for me as public? What do you mean public?
Why
would I want to lobby? Why would I want to give money to a DPO?
I think he's being conservative with the name welfare. It's
bribe.
It's bribe. It's not welfare.
The community bribing the DPO to get their
job
done.
I think you're saying welfare.
Look, now let me ask you a simple question. Have you seen any Nigerian that gets to a roadblock, all his particulars is correct, everything is okay with him, he has no problem? He goes to the roadblock and stop and put his hand in his pocket and give out money.
But the police officer will make sure something is wrong with.
Hold on, no. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you of the officer that victimizes people. I'm just saying an average Nigerian like you. You will travel to Nigeria. You can see yourself driving your car and just go to a car park. You've committed no offense. Everything is okay with you, and you just come and give money. You won't do that.
Absolutely not.
When you would have committed an offense and you don't want to go to prison, you don't want to be dragged, then you now lure the police into collecting bribe from you because you don't want to go to prison. That's the situation.
I've never had that one. For me, I've had anything for the boys. I think that is.
Even when you've not
done anything for the boys.
Anything for the boys. Are you forced? Huh? Is that a force?
Well, if you don't do it, you end up at the local police station.
Anything for the boys. You can, hey man, how are you? You go away. But what I'm telling you is that a Nigerian man will not help a policeman if he's not found wanting. That's what I'm trying to bring. And this one thing brings in you paying money on illegality, which you have committed. And they too, not wanting to drag you to the station, takes money from you because the government is not paying him.
Alexander, what you've some attachment with that. What is
he was there?
How would you describe? Would that be right? What he said? Would that?
I would say that the people, whether you're wanting or not wanting, whether you're committed a criminal offense or you're not, there's always a Nigerian police officer willing to take your money. But I have an issue, and I think that some of the issues raised previously and some of the things that you raised, especially the insurance bit, was quite interesting. Do you know that currently, if you retire from the Nigerian police force, you're more than likely never ever to see your pension? There's queues of people in the night that retire from the Nigerian police force that have not seen one kobo of their pension. Correct. This is the issue that's going on in Correct. Nigeria. So, to some degree, I understand that some officers might take bribes, but it's not right. Okay. Because those officers need to be paid.
Let me share with you an experience of a Nigerian who lives in the UK, traveled to Nigeria, was robbed at gunpoint, in Lagos. His car was taken, his wallet, everything he had was taken from him. Managed to run to a police check, and they said to him, go to the nearest police station. They directed him. He got to the police station. Here was a man who was just robbed by armed robbers. All his possessions taken away from him. Go to the Nigerian police station in Lagos. He was told to pay 5,000 naira to enter incident form. 5,000. And the man said, did you hear what I just said? The man said, did you hear what I just said? I said, just robbed. Everything taken. You are asking me to pay 5,000 naira to enter. They said to him, you don't want to pay? Please, leave.
Very demonic. In short,
how will you describe that?
It does happen. The issue is that one is not going to paint the police, very clean.
In Lagos, this is in
Lagos. Nobody's doing that here. Outside the police even pay bribe also to people. I'll give you an example. I was involved in that. A lady called me that the house help have just died without any sickness. He greeted her in the night. In the morning, he couldn't wake up. Now, she called me that we should please come so that we take the corpse to the general hospital for a medical certificate. We got there. General hospital in Marina, in Lagos. I can repeat the story 3 million times because it's true. The inspector went in there to meet the doctor. And then the inspector came back to meet me that I should talk to the woman that the doctor said we should give him something to write. I said, to give you money to write that a man is dead when we are all weeping. Okay, write to us that he's not dead. Because we're not willing that he should be dead. Write that he's not dead so that we take the cost back and he stand on his feet. It's as bad as that. So the society has even encouraged the police to become more evil. And then we have more dubious people that the government has itself made to be evil. If you are serving and you are not sure of your pension, if you are serving, you are not sure of any gratuity when you leave, then why would you not be corrupt? The question is a moral question to ask yourself. I remember I led 4,179 military pensioners that retired, were removed from the medically retired in 1979 and 1986 in Lagos. 2001, calculate the years. We are not paid their gratuity, no nothing. Medically discharged military pensioners. I took them to local jail to verify their records. So you ask me, you are working with a government who is not ready to look at your back when you have left. So what will you do? Will you be an angel in the devil's garden? You cannot be. All the blame is on the federal government that sees itself as an alpha and omega and will not be willing to protect the citizenry of the country. Not on the policemen. The policemen themselves are victims of circumstance.
You agree the police themselves victims of circumstance, even when they are training institutions dilapidated, less worthy environment to learn.
I agree. I think what you have to understand, 99% of police vehicles that the Nigerian police own have been donated. Just the other day, Mr. Dangote, one of the richest men in Africa, donated almost 400, I think it's 150 police vehicles. Now, if this was in the UK, and for instance, Vauxhall decided, hello Met Police, you guys are doing a great job. Let's give you guys 100. The first thing that would happen is we'll say, no, thank you. But if you are going to donate these vehicles, they will not be used for operational work, but they'll be used for stuff within the community, maybe community policing and stuff like that. But these 150 vehicles, it always seems that every single month, there's always one governor or another that's donating vehicles. But the problem is, what happened to the vehicles that was donated last year? I remember there was an issue, even in the House of Assembly, where the senators were given new vehicles, and all of a sudden they got a new vehicle the following year. What happened to those old vehicles? And there seems to be a habit of gifting stuff to the Nigerian police force, gifting stuff to security agencies, but we never actually hold an audit to find out what has happened to these vehicles. Who's going to be putting money to petrol in these vehicles? And you start to wonder maybe if these vehicles are being illegally sold. Because it's getting to a point where I know in some stations in Lagos where they don't even have vehicles at all. So what the hell is going on? Where are all these vehicles?
Ask the Inspector General. I remember the other day when maybe a director of SSS was asked to go home. They had to recover operational vehicles, including bulletproof vehicles, from his premises.
Well, we're talking about irresponsibility.
So these officers, the top officers, if you're lucky to get to the position of assistant superintendent of police, to the superintendent of police, up, then your shovel being posted to juicy, very juicy position where you can continue to rip people off.
Yeah.
Didn't they remove the former commissioner for Lagos? Didn't they remove him for something similar to that? Because at the end of the day, he was enjoying himself. They wanted to put somebody there that they could monitor, because he for one was a commissioner that I thought, to be fair, and I've seen him and I've met him, that was probably more intelligent than most of the other senior officers there. Very, very intelligent. Knew what he was talking about. Had the people at heart. But then, like everything else in Nigeria, you take the best person out of Lagos and you replace him with somebody who, to some degree, is lackluster.
Right. So we all agree that the Nigerian police, the junior officers,
the federal government is culpable.
They're just victims of the circumstances in Nigeria. So we hold the government responsible.
We hold the federal government responsible for accountability and the irresponsibility.
Poor funding of the Nigerian police.
Yes.
So if you're watching this program, which arm of the government you are, it's agreed that whatever thing the Nigerian police force, the junior officers on the street, those guys that are carrying arms, holding guns, you cannot give guns to hungry officers, and you think they will not misbehave with the guns, with the arms they've got. It's high time the government started looking into funding and equipping and releasing money into the Nigerian police environment. Quickly, before we go, do you think the relationship between the National Assembly and the IG is good?
It's not good.
Or the way the IG has been treating the National Assembly, ignoring their summon, do you think is professional, is appropriate?
But the IG doesn't have to attend the summons
should the House of Commons?
But it's two different laws.
No, they have oversight responsibility.
Yes, to the committee. So, example, in the House of Commons, there is laws in place that invites the commissioner to come and give evidence. The
same in Nigeria.
No, only on committees. Not if you look at if you look at the Constitution, Section 67. Subsection 2, the only person that can come and talk about issues, they can invite the president to come and talk, have a joint meeting to talk to both assemblies about the issues, and also for something regarding to what the assembly are talking about at the moment, about the whole Dina Malaya scandal and other stuff around security, it should be the Minister for Internal Affairs that should come down and be accountable.
Yes.
There is nothing in the Constitution that states that a IG has to be summoned to come to the assembly, but he can be invited, and if he chooses to decline, he chooses to decline. But the problem is that I think if you look at the whole both houses of assembly, you will stand to understand is that half of the houses of assembly are being investigated by the EFCC or the police. They always look at trivial things to talk about. First, it was the Custom General he didn't wear a uniform to the House Assembly. Then it was the EFCC chairman when it came to Magu, him not being suitable candidate. There's always a problem. I've always felt that the houses of assemblies have never really respected the law. And unfortunately, this is another case of the House of Assembly finding a way to get back at the people who are investigating them for corruption and other practices.
Doctor, you will agree?
Absolutely. It is very clear. The IG, as a matter of fact, to educate the masses, has never actually refused their invitation. You did not invite Inspector General Idris K. Ibrahim. You invited Inspector General of Police. From the rank of AIG, DIG, is possible to attend any meeting in which the IG is invited without it being personified. They personified it, and he was not personified in the invitation. So he sent his deputy. As a matter of fact, it's his deputy that is in charge of operations. If they even decide to neglect the law that has to do with the internal affairs minister, which they have the right to summon, not even the IG. And if they have to summon the IG has right to deputize his position for AIG or DIG. Because they did not summon Ibrahim Idris. So we should understand this context. They're trying to trivialize the issue of National Assembly and make it like an issue of personal hatred. And again, look at the invitation of the Senate President or whatever we're talking about concerning the crime that happened. Anybody can be invited by the police in Nigeria, as far as you don't hold immunity. Immunity for the President, the Vice President, governors, and the deputy. Even the CJ of Nigeria have no immunity. Neither the Senate President. So, nobody should make it like a child's play that the Senate cannot go there, maybe because they invited the IG actually honored the invitation of National Assembly. Because that was a position and not a personified position.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for your position on the program today. Dr. Mike Uyi, Global Peace Movement President, thank you for joining us on the program today. And Alexander Akuya, thank you for sharing your thought and professional experience with us on the program today. And for our viewers, thank you for joining us on the program. My name is Tunde Labid. Today we've actually looked at the Nigerian police, security, and the role of the Inspector General of Police. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye. To economy, to business, technology, the totality of